Last week, you guys learned about adding like fractions where the denominators were the same. And I want to make sure that we're all on the same page with both vocabulary as well as the skills. So let's take a few minutes and we're going to go through this page 585 and 586 together to make sure that you understand everything. And if you don't, please comment in the comment section below, and that way I can respond back, or maybe one of your classmates can respond back. But it's important that you understand this skill because this is one of those that you will be using, and you're definitely going to need this skill again for later on this year, but as well as future math. And definitely depending, like if you're doing woodworking, if you're doing any kind of home remodeling, if you're doing baking, this is definitely something that you're going to use. So it says to circle the pair of like fractions, and I want to make sure you know that like fractions is not the same as equivalent fractions. Like fractions are when your denominators are the same. Equivalent fractions are the half of a pizza or the 3/6 of the pizza, where they're equivalent. They're not changing the amount of pizza that you ate. All right, so they're very different skills. Do not get those confused. So it's asking us to circle the pair of like fractions. So you need to be looking at the denominator, the bottom number. Which one of those would have a pair of like fractions? And mine is kind of hard to see, but it looks like I'm going to circle 4/6 and 5/6. And again, notice that we're circling that because the denominators are the same. And it's not letting me, so I'm going to pause for a minute and figure out what's going on. So give me a moment. Hopefully it'll let me circle now. There we go. I don't know what was wrong. So those are like fractions. Explain how you know which pair of fractions to circle. You're going to write because the denominators are the same. Alrighty, so I will pause that because it takes me a while to write here. Hang on a minute and you can go ahead and write it on your own. All right, so you're going to write that the denominators are the same. That's how you can tell. Next, let's look at the next part where it's numbers 2 and 3. It says write each fraction as a sum of unit fractions, then write an equation to decompose the fraction into a different way. I looked for a minute. I thought, what in the world are they talking about? Here's what they want you to do. For 4/5, they want you to write 1/5. So all they want you to do is take apart your 4/5 to show each of the pieces. So if you had a pizza cut into 5 pieces, they want to show individual slices. So it's 1/5 plus 1/5 plus 1/5 plus 1/5 equals 4/5. That is how you would write the sum of unit fractions. Then to write an equation to decompose the fraction into a different way, you would take your 4/5. I'm going to do our equal sign here. 4/5 is equal to, you could do a lot of different things. I am going to say 1/5 plus 3/5. You could do 2/5 plus 2/5. You could do 5/5 minus 1/4. 1/5. But typically when you decompose, it's easiest to be thinking in terms of addition. And so you could do 3/5 plus 1/5. Any of those would work. So go ahead and decompose 4/5 on your paper right now on just a piece of loose leaf. And then we're going to take a look at the next fraction. So when you decompose 3/8, you're going to show it as 1/8 plus 1/8 plus 1/8. So you can separate all of them. Then, or when you're writing it as unit fraction, I'm sorry. Then when you go to decompose the fraction in a different way, that would be 3/8 is equal to. In this case, you could either do 1/8 plus 2/8, or you could do the opposite, 2/8 plus 1/8. All right. Let's look at number 4. Find each sum and write in simplest form. Notice on these, you have to make sure that your denominators are the same. They have to be like fractions because they are. It's like saying 2 apples plus 2 apples equals 4 apples. Well, 2/5 plus 2/5 is equal to 4/5. Let's look at number 5. 1/8 plus 5/8. This one's a little trickier because you're going to need to do something to it. It's equal to 6/8. I'm going to see if it will let me write over here. Yes. So it's equal to 6/8, but I see both of those are even numbers, so I can put it in simplest form by dividing the numerator and the denominator by 2 over 2. Each of those get divided by 2. Remember how they equal 1? Okay, so I'm not changing the value. 6 divided by 2 is equal to 3, and 8 divided by 2 is equal to 4. So 6/8 is what 1/8 plus 5/8 equals, but we have to reduce it, so our answer is 3/4. Number 6, 2/6 plus 1/6 is equal to, in other words, 2 bananas plus 1 banana. 2/6 plus 1/6 is 3/6. What can I divide those both by without changing the value? If I ate 3/6, I could divide each of them by 3 and watch what happens. If I ate 3/6 of a pizza, 3 divided by 3 is 1. 6 divided by 3 is 2. So 3/6 is the same as 1/2. So our answer for number 6 is 1/2. Number 7, now we're doing the difference. The difference is subtraction, remember, and again we write it in simplest form. So here we have 7/10 minus 4/10, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, so it'd be 3/10. Easy peasy, right? How about the next one? 3/4 plus 1/4. That one is 2/4, but it's not in simplest form. What does 2/4 equal when it's in simplest form? Oops, that's supposed to be a 2. 2 divided by 2 is 1. 4 divided by 2 is 2. So it equals 1/2 for number 8. 2/4 is the same as 1/2. Number 9 is 10/12 plus 6, or sorry, 10/12 minus 6/12. That would equal, did you say 4/12? I hope so. Now we're going to divide that. I could divide it by 2, but I see a bigger number that I could divide both of them by. Both of them could be divided by 4. 4 divided by 4 is 1. 12 divided by 4 is 3. Now 4/12 is now in simplest form with 1/3. So my answer for number 9 is 1/3. Okay, let's turn over to page 586. All right, number 10 reads, Elizabeth has 7/10 of a dollar. If she spends 4/10 of a dollar, what fraction of a dollar will she have left? So if she's spending it, she's getting rid of it. What operation is that? If you said subtraction, you're correct. 7/10 minus 4/10 is what you're going to write. And 7/10 minus 4/10 is equal to 3/10. Alrighty, number 11. A game uses tokens. 2/6 of the tokens are blue. 3/6 of the tokens are gold. What fraction of the tokens are either blue or gold? So basically they need to know what is their total number of fractions, or in fractions, what is it equal to? What is the sum of 2/6 plus 3/6? So you can add 2/6 plus 3/6 is equal to 5/6. Number 12. A glass has 6/8 cup of water. If Jack pours out 3/8 cup of water, how much water will be left? So again, it's getting rid of. What operation is that? If you said subtraction, you're right. If you didn't, go back and reread it. 6/8 minus 3/8 is equal to 3/8. And we better label that 1 cup. Number 13. A recipe uses 1/4 a cup of apple juice and 2/4 cup of orange juice. What is the total amount of apple juice and orange juice in the recipe? What operation are you using if they want to know the total? If you said addition, you're correct. So we have 1/4 plus 2/4 equals 3/4 cup. Number 14. What is the sum of 2/10 and 3/10 in simplest form? So I know that 2/10 and 5/10, first of all, sum is addition. So I know 2/10 plus 3/10 equals 5/10. Now, some of you might be able to reduce that one automatically in your brain because you already know maybe 5/10 is this. Others might need to do the division. So if I want to prove my answer, my hypothesis is in my brain right now. Does anyone want to guess? I'll give you a choice. It can be 1/3 or 1/2. Let's divide them both by 5. You see the answer? 5 divided by 5 is 1. 10 divided by 5 is 2. And here we have choice D. And that's it for our review. If you have any questions, please post them down below. Oh, sorry about that. You go ahead and post them in the comment section. I'll get to them. All right, have a great time, and I'll see you on the next step because I have a video for that too.